I'm not cutting out or anything, right? I'm sounding fine.
No, you sound much
Okay,
better
okay.
finally.
I think we can just yeah, get this started. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us
Okay.
again. I know this is a unusual request. You know, it was
Yeah.
yeah. Pixio likes to do everything on a kind of on a whim. I don't know if he even knows that. He
Yeah.
just like likes to throw out ideas. So
Yeah, that's my style.
yeah. So before we like dive in before and into CoinRotator specifically, can you like tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started as a software engineer. Actually, I studied
Hmm.
software engineering for 3 years actually, but quickly I really realized that that's not something I actually want to do, and I immediately switched to design. And here I am, 8 years later.
Hmm.
I'm still working in it, and I'm actually introduced to crypto a few years ago with CoinRotator actually, and today I'm mostly helping crypto startups building their products, usually from the beginning. But sometimes I'm even helping them like revamp their products, redesign, and things like that. Yeah, but usually from the beginning, same as with CoinRotator.
Oh, that's awesome. So how long have you been working with CoinRotator?
Well, I think it's not day one, but maybe day two,
Oh,
something
okay.
like
So
that.
you've been
Because
okay, okay. That's
yeah,
awesome.
so
From 2021, the end of 2021, when we
yeah,
decided to
Uh,
change from an Excel spreadsheet to a web application.
yeah.
yeah. So you know
So
the ins and out.
the very first version was, as a designer, I can freely say that it was terrible. It was really bad.
It
So,
wasn't that bad. Come on.
I mean, we are having this trends right now, right? And you can imagine that back then each table row was in color of that trend, right?
Hmm.
So it was really bad for the eyes, if that makes sense.
the
And
the original layout is actually the image for the Zora key pass. I did
Oh.
that kind of as a sweet memory, but the way Zora presents NFTs, you can't really see it. But if you snoop around the Zora key pass, you can see the original version.
Yeah, a little Easter egg.
It's kind of like a nostalgic thing.
wow,
I'm not sure if Pedro is aware of that, but he'd probably be horrified to see it again.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
yeah.
sure Pedro's is his favorite project commentator, right?
Absolutely, it's my first love, my first crypto
Oh
love.
yes.
So yeah,
actually, actually, there's a pretty funny story about when Pedro started.
Mm.
Pedro was very apprehensive, not because he didn't like crypto, he just didn't really understand what the point of it was. And fair enough, like even now, we're not really sure unless you're ideologically aligned with libertarianism or things like this. Crypto probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense except as a means to possibly make way more money than normal work. But Peja, as a designer, had this approach to picking his coins, and the way that he got paid was he would choose the coins that he liked the logo best for.
That's a great
actually,
strategy.
yeah,
Honestly, I've seen worse.
Yeah,
I've seen
and
worse.
to be honest, compared to the performance of some of my worst algos, it's not such a terrible idea, actually.
That's awesome. It's like you see a cute dog or something, hey, buy in.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
So
love
for a
it.
little while, I was paying Peja in Doge and Floki and this type of
Mm-mm. I mean, you gotta start
thing,
somewhere.
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah, so
yeah, looking at
yeah, go on.
Connotator now, we've noticed some new features, which is the wallet login, right? There's a new button right below the search bar. So how does that differ from the regular email login?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main difference in Web3 is that you're actually connecting with your wallet and not your email, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you have to have a wallet address. So in general, I believe Web3 login process is much more uh, straightforward, maybe than Web3 login, because you don't have to mess with setting up a password, dealing with email confirmations, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And one thing that I would say regarding UX that it's kind of different is that a lot of things are happening um, outside of the actual app. It's happening in the wallet extension, right?
Mm.
But still, you have to remember to communicate each step of the process in your app UI. So, for example, if you don't have a wallet extension installed, you will need to prompt the user to install it. Or if the confirmation via wallet extension fails, or you don't have enough assets to sign a contract, you need to let the users know what happened.
Mm.
Otherwise, they might be confused. So yeah, essentially, I think it's a much more fluid experience than Web 2, but still, you need to have some things in mind, if that makes sense, in order to make it work properly.
Yeah, totally. So you're
I'm
thinking more
just
about the
curious.
smoothness of the experience, right, for the user.
I mean, well, I like to describe myself most as a UX designer primarily,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So of course, when I'm designing something, I want something to look nice, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always great that the product looks nice. But if the product looks nice, but it's not behaving in a way that it should, if it's not intuitive, if it's not providing clarity and ease of use for the user, then your product is simply not good enough.
Yeah, and that way you can have people to stay on the protocol longer and use it more, right?
Well, absolutely, because if people don't know what's happening, what they should
Mm.
do, how the things are working, you have a problem.
Yeah, a lot of times I was just like looking at crypto. I just get deterred when I see, some of the confusing UXs. I just turn away. I'm like, nah, this is too much.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to remember is that Web3 is still a relatively new industry, and people are getting introduced to it on a daily basis. So you need to make sure that they understand your product. So I think my biggest issue back in the day is that I saw so many crypto buzzwords and terminology, and I
Mm.
had no idea what the product actually does. So my kind of suggestion, if actually is that if there is a way to explain something in a more traditional wording, do it. Because especially crypto newbies will have such a big problem understanding your product. And if you're using traditional wording, everyone will understand it. But if you're using crypto wording, then you're making a huge roadblock for the newbies, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Totally.
So, one more thing is that I would really advise using tooltips where something may be confusing or new to the users. So additional information can't really hurt, but the lack of it can. So, for example, if you're building a specific new feature in the industry, of course, people will have no clue how it works, and you need to explain it.
Yeah. A lot of times when I'm talking to Pixio, he likes to throw like kind of advanced terms, and I'm like, wait. Go back 5 minutes before and explore that a little bit
My
more.
my rationale is that it's better for you to understand the full depth of what I'm trying to say rather than having to repeat myself. But as someone who was once a crypto newbie, I appreciate how complicated and strange things can be sometimes.
Yeah, you guys make a great
Yeah.
team. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Well, yeah, Pedro definitely cleans things up quite a bit.
yeah. One thing I would maybe like to add here is that, and this is a general UX thing, not specific to Web3. I really don't like when I see too much, let's say, complex, advanced English words. And because you don't want to make people have to use their translator or whatever to decipher what you wanted to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are really trying to make this super fancy headings and descriptions, whatnot, that sound cool, but then you don't really know what you read and what the product does. So yeah, I mean, if it's possible to use simple English, then that's another plus, at least I
Mm.
think so.
So as a designer for many crypto projects, what are certain things that keep people on the protocol like longer?
Yeah. So when I was beginning working on crypto, specifically on CoinRotator, I had no experience at all
Mm.
in Web3. And I thought Web3 is something extremely different from Web2. So essentially, I I like to look at crypto as just another industry and not a totally new way of using the internet,
Mm.
if that makes sense. And I'm saying that because that's what is actually making the people scared,
Mm.
because web 1 was announced I don't know how many years ago, and then came web 2, which is around for 20 30 years, I don't even know. And now we have web 3, and that seems like such a massive jump. And at first glance, it feels like you need to learn everything from scratch in order to be able to build in this industry. But I don't really think that's the case. I would much rather call it, for example, uh, Web 2 plus, or Web 2 on steroids. It's not that different, actually. At least I think so. So yeah, you actually mentioned colors. Um, so I think people are actually thinking way too much about colors. So my best advice would be to forget about the colors themselves and focus on the actual message you want to convey, since
Mm.
every color has a meaning, actually. And yeah, we can argue that there are some colors that are more widely spread in Web3, such as blue or green, for example, especially highly saturated shades of these colors. But that doesn't mean that lighter or pastel colors can't work, and that you need to avoid orange or red, for example. And after all, there are new Web3 products popping every day, and you cannot possibly expect all of them to use blue, green, or whatever the current trend is, right?
Yeah, they're all gonna look the same, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just as long as it's simple, I feel like that's the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I have a question uh, about the aesthetics of the way that they make Web3 applications now. It seems like things are like really into being either retro or super super minimal. Is there like a design reason for that, or is it just simply what's trendy now?
Yeah, I mean, that are two, let's say, ways people are going with right now: retro and minimal. I would also add perhaps some futuristic
Okay, yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
like glass, super
Yeah,
futurist.
but in
Actually, I
general,
consider it like futuristic retro.
yeah, that makes sense. But in general, I think that from my experience in design in general, I think people are really just following the trends. So right now we are in this era of designing where people are just trying to cut as much as possible the designs down to the bare bones. So let's take iPhone, for example. And back in the day when they launched the iPhone 1 and then iPhone 3, 4, 5, their icons, their UI contained a lot more details, a lot more shadows, and things like that, right? And now the icons are much more simpler.
Mm.
And even if you go to settings and things like that, it's everything is really flat. You just see a text
Mm.
and buttons, and that's it. You don't have these shadows. And I understand that some people feel very nostalgic when they see that and they want that back. But and it's not to say that that kind of UI doesn't work right now. It definitely can work. But I think when designing, you need to find a balance between uh, usability, but also to follow trends to a degree. So not to blatantly copy the trend and just follow what everyone else does, but also to make sure you're not doing something really different because people may find it confusing. So it
Mm,
doesn't really make sense if you do something like people were doing it back 10, 15 years ago, right?
Right.
yeah, that is true. Like a lot of brands, not just iPhones, they have been like changing their brands to be more simple, and like most a lot of people have been noticing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And generally, my specific idea of design is that I don't want to add any elements in my design that don't have any purpose, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, someone might say, hey, this is just some star moving in the background and it has no purpose. I click on it and it does nothing. Sure, you can say that, but from my perspective, it's fun. It engages the user in a way. It makes the experience more more fun and pleasant. So essentially, every element has to have a meaning. And if something doesn't have a meaning at all, just cut it, just remove it. And yeah, I can say that I'm a minimal designer first because I'm starting from that point. Okay, let's just build the skeleton. Let's put all the features that we need in there, and just then, if we can make it more beautiful, more aesthetically pleasing, let's do it. But don't forget what's our goal here, because we don't want to compromise the usability and experience of the users just for some shiny elements, some sparkles or whatnot.
So I have a question. Um, Regarding the aesthetic of CoinRotator, can you describe like how you approached setting this up, or how you're reiterating currently in 2024? Like what are some things that you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, sure. So back when we started a few years ago, we our goal was actually just to, you know, launch this thing and present the idea
Just
to
see
the
how
world,
it goes.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I actually think like that about other products as well. So right now, I'm actually building a product, a crypto product on my own,
Mm.
and I'm a designer, right? But I'm like, I don't care about aesthetics at this point because I want to launch this MVP. I want to see how people react on it, how they like the idea, and if they like it and if they support it, then sure, we'll put in more work and we'll make it beautiful and everyone can be happy. But we don't want to spend like countless hours at the very beginning on doing some work that may not even be worth it.
Yeah, so the easy.
So, yeah, so right now with CoinRotator, we are constantly trying to add new features that should be really helpful for the users. And at least from my perspective, our users right now don't really care for the UI to be beautiful. They care that CoinRotator provides them the value that they need. CoinRotator solves problems that they have, and that's the most important thing. And Pixio know this, but I'm constantly talking about the complete revamp of the app, complete redesign, starting everything from scratch and making
Yeah.
a much more beautiful app. And we are definitely going to do that at some point. But I
This
feel,
is
sorry?
this is the dream to completely revamp it.
Yeah. But I feel like we are still keeping our design very minimal
Mm.
while trying to make the features as better as possible and as easy to use as possible, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
focusing on the real issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Solving usability problems first and then aesthetics, right?
Yeah. And also, I imagine as a designer for crypto sites or projects, security is also is probably a big issue. I'm sure Pixio is familiar with security issues. So
No
how do
comment.
you yeah what elements do you design to prepare the security side of things?
Yeah, that's actually a tricky question, to be honest, for me,
Mm.
because I haven't designed, although I have a lot of crypto projects under my belt now, I still haven't designed any product that required a specific security protocols or practices.
Mm.
So I think the key thing to have in mind in Web3 is that you don't want to someone to get your 20-word seed phrase, right? Otherwise, you may lose your assets. So it's not that different actually from the Web3 because from Web2, pardon, because in Web2 you don't want someone to get access to your password. Otherwise, you may lose your data. So I'm not sure how any product can really protect you from this. And can uh, products even provide some solutions that can at least in a degree help you not get into this situation. At this point, I think this is totally your responsibility
Yeah.
to be aware of.
Yeah, that's the
Mm.
beauty of
I was just
decentralization.
thinking more about. Sorry, Martin. I was thinking just more along the lines of warning users when they make certain actions would might compromise their wallet or something of this nature, or that they're signing something. It
Yeah.
seems like some protocols are very vigilant about this, while others are quite cavalier, and they just don't seem to make it a priority.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
yeah, that's actually a good point. So a lot of products out there I saw they really uh, have warnings when wherever uh, something dangerous, if that makes sense, may happen. So I even noticed one wallet app. I can't remember the name. So when I pasted the address wanted to send some crypto to, they asked me, "Do I want to allow paste option?" So I don't really know if that's necessary, but it's definitely a measure of security in a way, right? And
Yeah.
some apps are even having this option to hide all the numbers in the UI. So that way you can do your thing. You probably already know what the numbers you have mostly, but you're totally secured in public. No one can see your numbers. No one can see your address or whatever
Right, like
your.
when we sign a transaction to log into V3 of CoinRotator, you only see, I think, the first third of the address of the wallet. You don't see the entire address, which it seems like it's kind of standard these days,
Yeah, it's
and I
actually a
suppose
standard.
it's for security.
It's actually a standard for uh, addresses to be truncated somewhere in the middle. So, for example, you have first 4 to 6 symbols and the last 4 to 6 symbols, something like that, and then like truncated with 3 dots in the middle. So yeah, I mean, all this is great and amazing, but once again, if you lose access to these 12 magic words, you are, you know, effed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's the big difference between Web3 and Web2. Is like you can recover your account most of the time in Web2, but in Web3, once the password or once the phrase is leaked, it's dead.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely,
it's not
absolutely.
usable.
Yeah, I would love
So
to blame a designer or someone else for losing my own money. You know, so it's not
Right,
my fault.
right.
It's the designer's fault. So yeah.
so yeah, so essentially the products can only do so much. They can
Hmm.
warning you, they can warn you when they may be uh, have in their system that some source, some address, or whatever is a spam. Yeah, and they will warn you so you know not to interact with it. So for example, I'm getting a ton of free NFTs, right,
Hmm.
that are just a way uh, for me, for them actually to get money from me. And I'm also getting some, let's say, some small amount of crypto, and with a message, hey, do this and we'll get you more crypto. So yeah, and the good thing is that some apps are actually hiding this by default, and you don't ever have to see it, and that's great. But of course, as mentioned, the products can only do so much. If you're not cautious, then there is no one that can help you actually.
Yeah, that's why I just think like it's so much more important that the UX is easy to understand when it comes to security. But as we're not doing any transactions yet on CoinRotator, it's not a huge issue. But we have tried to make sure, even with the minimal issues, of step by step what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool, man. Why don't we move into the other direction where we try to help you understand how to use CoinRotator a bit better?
Okay, I'm. I think
Well, that's
it
okay.
was 4 years ago, very vividly, when you reached out to me, presented the very
Yeah.
early idea of CR, and asked me if I can help. And to be honest, I was equally excited and
Why were
scared,
you
right?
scared?
Because I had no experience in Web3 at all, and it's same
uh,
actually trading and for using
right.
tools like this actually, because the only thing that I ever did is, yeah, sure, I was designing products. I understand a lot of things, but
Mhm.
I have no clue how to use CoinRotator, and I have no idea how it can help me in any way. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Picture will love to talk.
Well,
He will talk to you for
I
hours.
suppose CoinRotator is primarily designed for people who are fairly active trading. So they're checking prices probably 50 times a day. So for that reason, it's probably not the most useful application for you, but there's definitely information that can help you make slightly better choices about which coins to buy and which coins not to buy. Um, one thing that I can say for people who are not really trading but are more passively investing is the longer term trends can be pretty useful. Maybe not for timing precisely when to buy and when to sell, but if you see that a coin you're interested in is in a what we call 7 day trend and it's down, if the trend streak for this is excessive, if it's more than 10 weeks down, for example, this is usually a very good time um, to look into buying a coin. Just that alone, I think, is incredibly useful, and there's no other application that can give you that information in an instant. So, like, I don't know, Paige, give me one logo that you're into these days, and we can take a look.
The cutest
Yeah,
one.
so I heard a lot about a logo called Hehe with a cat.
I don't think we have this one. Oh
How
yeah, there it is. It finally showed up. Okay.
awesome.
Well, we can't use this one for the idea because it's too new on CoinRotator. But basically, the 7 day streak. This is the first week. Yeah, it's the cutest one. And actually, today's the first day that it's appeared on CoinRotator. It's a long story why that is. It's not because we don't want it there. It's more a technical data thing.
We'll make sure to update it just
But
for you.
yeah, so maybe that's not the best one page.
Okay, pick that second
Yeah,
case one.
let's do some dog then. I know there are a lot of dodgy Shibas, Samoyeds, things like that.
Yeah. So maybe Samoyed's a good one because that's like kind of old school from last cycle. So you won't. Yeah, yeah. So if you go to the coin page, yeah, the second cutest one, right?
Okay.
So if you go to the coin page, you can see the 7-day trend. So it's down for 6 weeks now. So I would consider this like a reasonable downtrend, not so interesting. But let's say that this number was over 10 and you're interested in this coin. I would say that it would be a fairly good time to start buying this coin, but
Mm,
not to put all your money into it, but do what's called dollar cost averaging
Yeah.
and using extended downtrends for coins you like. I think that's one really good technique and way to use CoinRotator for slower moving investors.
Oh,
Just for
I think I can leave now and be rich.
yeah.
no, this is a slow one. If you want high
Well, I
risk
mean
one,
that's
he'll
that's
show
a
you.
tiny component. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, if you
yeah.
want a
There's all
high risk
kinds of
strategy,
options.
I'm
I
sure I'll
mean, I
show you
have
it.
like $10. I have a plan. I already have a plan. I have like $10. I have like $10 in my wallet, and
Okay,
I will buy like 10 different dogs, and
okay.
I will get a dog for $1, and I have 10 dogs, and I will get hopefully a million by the end of this week. So,
Well, if your currency is not dollars, it's very possible.
oh,
But I'm kind of curious why you chose dogs and not cats because cats are all the rage now. You have Mog and you have Hehe and you have Popcat and you have El Meow and Yum
eh,
Meow and all these different meows. Are you not
actually,
a cat
I
lover
actually am a
or
cat
is it?
lover. I had a cat a few years ago. She
Oh,
left us, unfortunately. But
Oh,
sorry.
and yeah, thank you. Um, actually, I cannot really say if I love cats or dogs more. I love them
Okay.
both. But right
Okay.
now, I do have a young, less than a year old dog. So
Oh,
yeah, maybe that's why.
so you have a little bias towards. You're more
Yeah,
bullish on dogs than cats right now. Fair enough. Fair
and
enough.
and
There,
he's
there
actually
are some new dogs.
And he's actually a Westie, so I'm wondering, is there a Westie coin?
Westie? I don't even know what a Westie is. What's a
It's
West?
it's a tiny terrier. The
Ah,
Maltese
okay.
dogs, but not really.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you should
don't
you
know.
should pick a coin
It's
that
actually a good question.
looks the most like your dog. They will make you millions, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but actually, just want to mention and be annoying about it. But we do have a dog meme category, which I just sent to you, Pages. So maybe you can scroll through those icons or logos and see if any of them stick out to you. I
Yeah,
know Billy's pretty popular. Miro, Corgi, Floki, with dog with hat. That was probably the biggest meme since Doge, actually.
yeah. So
If any
I
are
don't
interested.
know. I don't know if this question makes any sense for this conversation, but I'm just wondering: is there any point of meme coins in general? Are they just memes, or they actually have any function?
They don't have a specific investing function like, say, Bitcoin, which is a store of value, and you can consider it like property, and you know that it's gonna exist in a few years, like that sort of thing. No, but it does satisfy a certain need of cultural belonging, which at this point kind of looks the same as like trading cards, I guess. And because of inflation, there are more economically focused reasons why meme coins are not the stupidest thing ever. But on the surface, no, there is no intrinsic utility for a meme coin.
But then you have coins
Right.
like in
Okay.
It's
Politify.
true. But in terms of like,
Like they're also
yeah,
considered
so
meme coins.
there are different kinds of meme coins, and so yeah, that's a really good point, Martin. There are some newer kinds of meme coins that are starting to have a certain kind of utility. The political coins, if you go to Politify, we just added
Yeah, we
these
talked
coins
about them
actually.
last week a lot.
Here you go. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in these at the
Yeah, they're
moment.
technically meme coins,
I'm actually
but
trading them quite actively as Bitcoin or anything else. Um,
they're like another tier of meme coins.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
No, I'm just since you guys were talking about meme coins, don't talk shit about my meme
Yeah,
coins.
so basically you can yeah. So there, as I'm sure you're aware, Peja, there are memes about the president elect, or not the president elect. Sorry, the previous president Trump and the new candidate for the Democrats, Kamala Harris. And so anytime there's news about the polling or popularity, or if they say something controversial, there are meme coins with their names and kind of making fun of them a bit that move in response to that. So,
It's
for example, did you see the politify category on CoinRotator?
It
I actually didn't, but it's actually crazy that so I'm 27, right? And I never followed politics. I like to
Right.
call myself a political, right? But it's
Right.
crazy that right now I have to follow what's happening in the politics in order to make money. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true. You have to know what's going on, and these coins they're very good representations of the hive mind, so to speak. So
yeah.
like there's been an interesting shift. So obviously, prior to the assassination attempt, there were two main meme coins for Politify. There was Bowden, which is a joke about how Biden is a bit slow and stupid. And there's also Trump, also making fun of Trump for similar reasons. But after the assassination attempt, Bowden absolutely collapsed because it was so obvious that his response would be positive in the hive mind. And so the Trump token or Trump tokens, there's a few of them, they absolutely skyrocketed. Like they went up like crazy. And uh, people who follow whale wallets on chain, we can see that some of the biggest whales in crypto, they were taking profits on their Trump coin. So them taking profits on their Trump coin was a pretty good signal to me that the other coins that were collapsing were probably gonna start performing better. So I immediately went and checked the list, and the coin that stuck out the most to me was the Kamala coin because Biden running again is a terrible bet, but maybe Kamala can't win, but she can definitely take some more points than Biden had because obviously Biden was very unpopular as the leading Democrat. So I've actually been trading the Kamala token, even though I don't really think she has a very good chance to win the election. Um, there's been a lot of opportunity to trade on the upside. So
Yeah,
that's yeah, that's one real utility. Like it's a form of betting, I guess.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
some people can place bets in their real work because they need to hedge things. They
It,
need to make money where they're not making money.
yeah, the interesting thing about Politify coins is that these coins are not in any way like officially affiliated with these
No.
candidates. Not in any way, but still the price does move with the
Yeah,
recent news, as opposed to like other coins.
yeah,
You know, like the the price generally
There,
moves according
there,
to the
there
news
was
related.
actually,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, there was actually an attempt recently on AVAX. AVAX is a layer one,
Mm.
not so popular these days, but it was super popular last cycle. And the founder of AVAX, he made an announcement, I think in May, the end of May, early June, where he was going to give a percentage of the profits from the coin to the political candidate, and he even launched a coin for RFK. RFK, yeah, RFK is his name. And everyone freaked out. They're like, "You can't do that. That's not going to work, and that looks really bad." And these are supposed to be meme coins. There's not supposed to be any profits for the people the coins are about. And it was really interesting to see like how anti sort of ownership these coins are. So if your name's on it, you should have nothing to do with it, and that's kind of an important component of the legitimacy of a meme coin. Is that the meme and the token should not be super connected, which is
Yeah,
it's a bit weird, but
yeah.
yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
So
So,
you mentioned this, and of course, these meme coins should not really be and are not indeed connected with these people actually.
yeah,
But I mentioned actually no, I haven't mentioned. I saw something, and of course, we can talk about all these categories for years. But since I'm a big football fan, I have a
Mm.
question regarding that because all
yeah,
these, I think not all of these, but a lot of football clubs have their own. Coins, right? And
right.
I don't know, I feel is that these tokens are actually made by them. That makes sense to me. And what I'm wondering is the value of these tokens in any way connected to the value and how the club operates and their success and things like that?
I don't know exactly the connection, but I know that there was one company authorized to mint these tokens. They're called Chili's. Maybe you've heard of them. And I'm sure that there was some licensing fee paid to them, but I don't know if it's an ongoing or a one-off type thing. If it's just a one-off type thing, it's no different than a t-shirt maker
Yeah,
or something who makes a toy in that sense. So the one thing I was surprised about was how little reflexivity there was to the team's performance. Like I assumed that it would be traded more heavily when they were playing or when they were trading their players, but I noticed that it never really happened except for a few select times. And I don't know the reason why that's happened. My guess is that the teams are not allowed to talk about the tokens because it would be considered a security or market manipulation. And obviously, these teams have a lot of financial financials at stake, so they wouldn't want to jeopardize that. But I would assume going forward that there will be a much stronger correlation, but at the moment there's close to zero, which
yeah,
which is really interesting.
yeah, makes sense. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So cool. Yeah. I guess one more feature that you might find really useful with CoinRotator is to track trends with a watch list. So if you go to the watch list, um, well, the way it's set up now, you'd have to choose the coins. So if we go back to the dog theme coins, because now you're all about the dogs. So you see the little stars next to the coins.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but I actually designed them.
Oh, have you? I wasn't sure who did that. Now I know. Great.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
there when it was written.
So you can create your own watch list of coins that you want to track to see when they're coming into your buy range. Um, in the next few weeks, you'll actually be able to set up a custom alert, which the devs are working on now, and I assume you'll be doing some design work on in the near future too.
Yep.
But you'd be able to set an alert like there are so many weeks down trending. Now's a good time to start buying, that type of thing. So like a DCA alert. you could do that. So that's kind of useful.
Yeah, I think watchlist is actually great because in the main table we have like 1,000 coins, right? And
Yeah,
I don't want to scroll through all this. I just want to
sure.
scroll on the coins that I'm actually interested in and I'm following.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we have lots of filtering options, but they're primarily for people who are looking for coins of a specific price or a specific genre or specific time frame. You can filter by lower time frames as well on V3. But with that, you'll need a key pass. You'll have to mint a key pass on Zora, which, by the way, you're also the designer of. I think you did
Yeah.
a good job on that. So
Sorry?
we got to get those minted out so that more people can see the cool stuff that you're working on with CoinRotator.
Yes.
Cool. Are there any other things we should talk about?
No, no, I think
Uh,
we covered a lot of things.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for the end, I would maybe like to say that whenever you guys have some intel, let me know because I want to get rich and my goal is to get a Porsche really soon if possible. So
Well, someone leaked the contract for Hehe, the dog coin or the cat coin, in the Anon Discord on CoinRotator when it was trading at 100,000 market cap, but not many
Ooh.
people bought into it. I don't know who that was, but yeah. So if you check out the Anon message board on the Discord, who
yeah,
knows? Maybe you'll be able to buy the next Hehe.
all right.
All
And
right.
then and then I'll get a Porsche soon and maybe
we
a house.
all
In,
we're all in this together.
We're all in this
Yeah.
together.
Thank you so much for your insight, Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Pedro.
Hope I'm not
I hope this
butchering it.
wasn't too
yeah.
scary for you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Time
Yeah,
Hope to see you
I
again.
yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Thanks a lot, Pedro. Come back and visit us.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.